How's it going? SoreTvGamer here. Today, I'm going to be giving you an update on where I've been, what I've been up to, and it's all some funky stuff, man. Like it's been pretty nasty. But the thing about life is that we go through difficult things, and sometimes those difficult things seem to take forever to get through. So essentially, I started taking Latuda back in like April or May, and I ended up getting side effects, and I didn't know that. So I was guessing that I should increase the dose. So of course, my psychiatrist gave it a go, and looks like it made it worse, right? So I'm at the point where I'm getting anxiety and I can't sleep, and I'm having a heart rate that is about 140 while laying down. I started having palpitations, things I've felt before in the past because of antibiotics, but I started to feel really, really sick, and I started getting really worried. And I mentioned to my psychiatrist, I said, hey, like when I didn't take it last night, it got a little better. And we realized that the medication itself was giving me the problem, so what we did was we stopped taking it cold turkey and replaced it with Seroquel. The medication was Latuda, if I didn't say that. I was put on Latuda, and I switched to Seroquel. Now, with the antipsychotics, it's kind of tricky, but basically, what you can do is you swap an antipsychotic for another one, and sometimes the withdrawal effects aren't severe. But I'm one of those people, and I didn't know this. I was one of those people that very sensitive to withdrawals. So I started to go into a complete, and I hate telling you this, but almost a complete psychosis. I would come out of it, it would last a few minutes, and then I would come out of it, and the reason why was because the anxiety was just driving me nuts. The anxiety is known to be the most persistent symptom of Latuda withdrawal, and it's the one that lasts the longest. So before this, my anxiety that I felt, I thought I was pretty strong. I thought to myself I could deal with anxiety. But there's a difference between like your stress levels, your natural stress levels, and then being imbalanced. That's a whole different game. It doesn't matter anymore what kind of anxiety that you felt before. You're imbalanced, so like the anxiety itself was so profound that I went into psychosis. And the Latuda withdrawal, also some of the symptoms. If I should probably bring it up, but I don't have my phone with me right now. But confusion, elevated heart rate, irregular heart rate, like I said, anxiety that's profound, severe, depression, hallucinating, seeing things that weren't there, hearing things that weren't there, diarrhea, vomiting, constipation. Man, I tell you what, it was every day a struggle. I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't play games. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't, like physically, because I couldn't hold a controller. I got so weak that it felt like my arms were losing connection to my brain. That's the best way I can say it, like latency. And I was just so concerned about myself, and it's a very unnerving feeling your limbs not work, and then feeling them get stiff, my thumbs would get stuck, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops. I tried playing that because Activision Blizzard Microsoft bought Activision and Blizzard, sorry. And I wanted to experience those games because I barely played online when they were out and new. Watched a lot of White Boy 7th Street when I could watch TV, and that was 5 weeks later when I was able to watch things, finally. I listened to Steak and Eggs podcast with Asmongold, Imaru, and Tectone, and I was listening to that podcast before I got bad to fall asleep, and then it was so hard to listen to them because they would play ads, and I understand that, and they're really good sponsors and good bits on the ad, but like the sound was so different than them just talking that I ended up getting nervous and stuff, so I could barely even listen to anything for the first 5 weeks. It was constant anxiety and depression, and to be honest, the best thing I could do was talk to my mom or my grandma. I was with my grandparents for a month because my grandma had surgery on her knee and my mom was there to take care of them. So when I was going through this in the beginning, I was home alone, and that's not where I need to be. I had to be around somebody, and I'm not ashamed to admit that, man. So I was with them, and then eventually I moved back into the house. And I've been here just recovering, trying to get better. Unfortunately, the medication that we swapped me on from Latuda was Seroquel. Now, Seroquel was very good, and 1 out of 1,000 people end up having a side effect where they start to have vision problems, where they see halos around light and things look like a star. You look at a street lamp and it looks like a star. It looks like those spaceships on the beginning of E.T. Steven Spielberg. Looking at those streetlights, walking my dog in the panic I was in as well, look like spaceships from E.T. If you ever see that movie, just watch like the beginning. That's exactly what it looked like. It was crazy. It was insane. And I couldn't read anything at some point. I couldn't read text. It got to the point where like I would see halos and lines and stuff on TV. Thank God that's not happening right now. Well, actually, I can kind of see it, but it's very minimal. So I had to get off that. But here's the little turn where things got better. So instead of thinking all the time, which is what I did, instead of doing that, I started taking action. I had a problem where like I kept thinking about how I need to see a neurologist, I need to see an eye specialist, I need to see a cardiologist. I was so used to just going to my psychiatrist appointment that I just, for some reason, the mental state I was in, which by the way, another symptom is confusion. And let me tell you something kind of sad, but like I was trying to get my mind off things with my messed up hands. I was trying to play a banjo tooie, and I literally couldn't play the game, dude. I was so confused. I couldn't read. I couldn't even tell my mom what I was feeling. It was so hard to talk, and I get it in these like mental states where that's really difficult still, which is why like right now I just got a bunch of Dark Souls 2 videos that I can edit and upload, and I don't have to say anything. Granted, I wish I had the mic that I have now in those videos, but it is what it is. There's a lot of people saying that, by the way. God. Anyway, so let's wrap it up. Got on Seroquel, started having eye problems. Saw a neurologist. I started taking action. I saw a neurologist, and I told him about this thing that I've been dealing with. I don't know if I ever told you guys about it, but I would freeze up, and I still do. I freeze up, and I can't speak or breathe for a few seconds. Turns out that was anxiety. I never heard of that before, but yeah, if you look deep enough, I do remember reading something about that, but I was convinced it was like, something bad, right? But he told me that, and that solved all of this. And so basically the reason why I kept going on medications and led me to Latuda, which is a second generation medication, by the way, so you don't usually get side effects from Latuda unless you have that DNA, but chances of that being you is very, very small, so don't induce fear in your life by worrying about that. If you take it or any kind of medication, you're probably good, man. Just keep that in mind. This is me. I've dealt with this stuff all my life, basically, man. I was born with cerebral palsy, so like, yeah, man, like I deal with it. I deal with stuff all the time. So anyway, because of the neurologist appointment, I was able to realize I can go back on medication that I thought was making me freeze up. Problem solved. There you go. Sure, there's gonna be something probably that happens with this medication, maybe, but oh no, I'm okay. That's okay. I will say this though. I felt like I was stuck. If you ever or are in this situation, know that you're not stuck. Your body just needs time. I remember my sister just mentioning casually, like, you fill a cup with water and you put dye in it. You have to pour more water in it before it gets clear, right? And that's your body chemically adjusting, going back to the equilibrium, back to the normal state. It will happen. So stay positive and talk to people that aren't just like, distraction, but people you can really express what you're going through and kind of guide you through that. That could be your girlfriend or your wife or your boyfriend or husband. It could be your doctors. Those are strong allies as well. I'm very close with some of my people that help me. I'm very close with my nurse practitioner. She's awesome. Shout outs to her. And yeah, man, like, I'm close to my mom, close to my sister, close to a lot of people, but kind of receded and cope, and I did my best to just keep the talking to a bare minimum. So I didn't really talk to many people. Zero, the guy that does the Dark Souls 2 videos with me and did Elden Ring with me, and pretty much any co-op game in the future we do. I talked to him a little bit and told him it was a supplement, but I was wrong about that, I think. It could have... I was taking methylfolate, L-methylfolate, and I was thinking, maybe it's that, but it could have been, but it was definitely Latuda. And it could have also been the supplement, but I'm going to let that go. But, I just, all in all, trial and error. Trial and error is the solution. Trial and error. And it takes some time, when we get sick, we tell ourselves, I'll be better in a week. And I was having that mindset, but this is totally different. This is a chemical change that's devastating. Right? That's what I had reached out to White Boy at 7th Street in one of his streams and just mentioned it. And he's like, I've never taken an antipsychotic, but that's a devastating mental change. And he was doing a bonfire and told me to look in the fire. Just do your best to do what you can do. I couldn't play video games or watch TV for a very long time, for about 5 weeks, but there were moments where I had a few moments, like a few minutes, maybe an hour of relaxing, and then I went right back to the battle, right back to the anxiety, right back to the fight. Last thing I want to say is just take life moment by moment if you can. That's what got me through it. I did get suicidal. I started having those thoughts. I've had a few friends that did that, and they were on my mind. I was thinking to myself, they were stronger than me, and they gave up, and that's just not the right mindset to have. Don't give up on yourself. Like this boss here, I didn't give up. You're seeing the success here where I beat this guy. In the game, that door on the left right there with the torches, I could have gone through that at any time. I could have given up on this challenge of mine where I don't have gear, I don't have weapons, I don't have healing. If I go through that door, I can get all that. And then I can jump on his head and take 50% out of this boss's health. And then when I'm hitting him with the weapon, it's a lot of damage. If you see this, I think it's like 2 damage. 2 damage every time I hit him. Okay? So, you can give up, or you can just keep going. You see the success here, but when I look at this video, what I see? I see 10 hours, maybe 12, over and over and over and over. Dying, until I learned it, until I got it down. Now I feel good about myself, and I feel good about myself now with everything that I've gone through medically. You guys stay strong out there. Stay positive. And like this game says, don't you dare go hollow.